He's a talented director, writer, and actor that, of course, you know from Clerks, Mallrats, Dogma. He's currently on the road to tour his new movie, Clerks 3. Joining us now in studio, Kevin Smith.
First off, right off the top, go to a wide shot. I hate to direct, but that's what I do. You'll notice that I'm sitting lower.
Why?
I lowered my chair for that very reason. I don't want people looking at my crotch on television. I watch this show and I see all of your crotches.
That's what your OnlyFans is for.
I don't want them looking at it.
Okay, but we are trying to get ratings.
I can see that, man, but you're not getting it off of my massive jump. Kids, I just a full disclosure, completely baked here in the wonderful state of local weed, and I'm used to smoking California weed, and I'm very all the time. I live near Mary Lou. Mary Lou lives above me.
I was going to ask, what kind of neighbor is Mary Lou?
She can literally if the earthquake happens, Mary Lou winds up in my pool.
Does Mary Lou see smoke coming from?
Probably.
I can take videos. I can watch their parties. I think your satellite dish is still on my property.
Probably.
From years, yeah.
I'm looking at Affleck's satellite
from Affleck's,
dish.
I know.
You guys are happy neighbors. Like, is she a good neighbor? Like, do you like a chatty neighbor,
honestly,
or do you like a chill neighbor?
I've lived there for 20 years in February, and we finally met last year as I was walking up the hill. She was outside. She was like, "Hi, Kevin." I was like, "I know who you are. You have the world's greatest memory." I quizzed her. I started quizzing her. I was like, "What happened December 12th, 1982?" And she told me a bunch of stuff I couldn't double check. So I felt
December 12th, 1982 was a Sunday.
See,
look at that. Isn't that nuts? Isn't that crazy? Somebody look it up, though, because she does this all the time, and nobody checks. She could just be making it up.
I never lie. I'm never wrong.
There you go. I have to ask you this.
She's an honest, wonderful neighbor, very, very quiet and stuff.
Yeah, quiet.
Very cool. The only other time I saw you was I always hike up past where she lives, her driveway. So as I was hiking one day, I saw her in the middle of the street looking like very concerned, and she was in a rope. And I was like, well, "Hey, how are you doing?" And she goes, "Did you see a file of paperwork my husband
left his little leather case on top of the car and drove off."
Oh,
so that's a Tory move.
That's the thing. He doesn't have the memory that she has.
Very true.
So he forgot the thing and left it. Did you ever find it?
No, unfortunately.
Can I ask?
Yes. No.
I have to ask you a question. You recently bought the movie theater.
Yeah.
This is like a dream of mine.
My hometown movie theater, where my father used to take me when I was a kid, and where I would go on, like with my high school girlfriend every Friday and stuff like that. So my DNA is all over that.
Yeah.
That's why I had to buy it to clean it up. It's kind of cool. There's an apartment above it, so I'm going to live there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so my TV room is going to be one of 5 theaters.
Nice.
We'll just plug in the phone and watch whatever we want. But the idea of like having a movie theater is kind of vanity for a filmmaker. You're like, "Oh my God, I make movies, so we put them in a movie theater." But I have ways to monetize a movie theater that other movie theaters can't. For example, I just wrote a flick. We're going to shoot in the movie theater.
Oh, smart.
If you own a movie theater, make a movie in the movie theater.
Very meta.
We're going to do a film school this summer. I've always felt like movie theaters, like during the day, they're so empty at matinees.
That's a good point.
And stuff. You can use them. What is it if not a classroom? A bunch of chairs, big whiteboard at the front.
Sure. This guy.
So we're going to do the Jay and Silent Bob film school, teach people how to make Jay and Silent Bob movies. And we're coming up, the first thing we're doing, like, it's just a way to do fun and games. We're doing Hollywood Babylon, one of my live podcasts there on October 8th.
So are you moving here?
To Denver? No, this is all in New Jersey.
This is all in Jersey.
Oh, in New
Jersey. But honestly, after last night in Boulder, I seriously considered
Denver's great.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
My God, I went into this theater. We were at the Boulder Theater and we showed Clerks 3. I'm on tour with Clerks 3, folks. You can go see. Look for tickets at clerks3.movie. But anyway, I was there at the theater. It was like going to a church where I was both the priest and Jesus at the same time.
I love it.
Oh my God, they welcomed me so hardcore, man. I was like, I could live here in a big bad way. Best reaction to the movie that we've had on the road outside of like the first screening in Jersey.
Way to go, Boulder!
Go Boulder!
And Denver, our show tomorrow night in Denver is like sold out, so that's like 1,800. So Colorado is a great place.
Yes, it is.
Oh, it's incredible. Well, I heard that you were a baby crying at Bennifer's wedding.
I did.
I know you guys are super close.
I bawled like a man bitch.
Yeah.
Watching my friend together years ago and stuff. And it was, you know, when somebody invites you to their wedding and you got to take 2 flights to get there and you have to wear special clothes.
Yeah, right.
Like, I go out of my way to wear whatever the hell I want in life. Somebody's like, "You got to wear white." And I'm like, "Oh man, I look terrible in white. I'm going to look like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man." So it was a pain in the ass. Once I got there, though, everything was ameliorated because it was hands down one of It was a storybook love, and they stuck the landing with this like fantasy ending. It was beautiful, man. Like the kids really do love each other. They loved each other back then and stuff, and they went and had separate lives and did everything. And now have come back together and joined their lives. The way they included everybody and their family in the wedding, it was beautiful. Ben wrote this big speech that he read to her like during the reception. And I'm a huge Ben Affleck fan, obviously. I've worked with him many times. And I like him as a person, but I also like him as a writer because he's very clever with the word of phrase and stuff, turn of phrase. And it was a long speech, but the whole time Jennifer was soaking it up because it's all about her and how wonderful she is. And I think the second person in the audience who was like this was me because I was like, oh, he's so clever. You rock, man. Tell me how much you love her.
Spoken like a true director. That's
absolutely.
He's like, stick around because Kevin is not leaving us quite yet. When we come back, we're going to talk to him about his new movie, Clerks 3, so do not go away. And you becoming the mayor of Boulder.
Yeah. I'm running. Congrats out, everybody.
I made a cool movie.
You're right. I'm living on borrowed time. No more watching movies.
I'm gonna make a movie!
What's the movie gonna be about?
It's about him working here.
Meta.
Okay, welcome back. That was a clip from Kevin Smith's new movie, Clerks 3, and he is with us in the studio to tell us all about it. We're so happy.
And I have questions, Sam, because, you know, a lot of people that were in Clerks 2 are in Clerks 3. So almost like the movie theater, like how nostalgic was it? Was it like this weird time warp?
It was amazing. I mean, I couldn't be surprised when we shot because, you know, I'm the ringmaster. I was the architect. So when it happens, I can't be like, how did the elephant get here? I put the elephant there.
I bought it.
That being said, like when I was writing it, I was like, oh, I think this is going to be a meta experience for the cast. I knew what to expect because I'd written it. There were moments when the cast were shooting where they were standing in the exact same places that they had stood
It's like
29 years ago and said the exact same things. It would be like going back to the taxi set and redoing a whole episode 30 years later. So periodically they would look at each other and be like, this is so weird. And I was like, this is how I live all the time. Like you're living in a stoner fantasy. We're folding time in on it. So it was absolute bliss. And because we shot in Jersey, this is the first time we shot a movie entirely in Jersey since the first time, since Clerks. So we were able to bring back people who had been in the first movie who nobody in the world would consider movie stars. But because they're in that flick, and because people have seen that flick for 29 years, they are more famous than Ben Affleck. Like Ben Affleck cameos in the movie and he gets a big reaction when he shows up, but there are people like my ex-girlfriend Kim Lochran who played like Heather Jones in the movie. She lives locally. If we'd shot the movie in California, I wouldn't have flown her out or anything like that. But since we were there, I'm like, oh, roll down and we'll put you in the flick. She didn't age a day. She looks amazing and stuff. And she's standing next to my friend Ernie O'Donnell, who also hasn't aged a day and stuff. And those two people in that moment in time, like in Hollywood, would mean nothing. In Clerks 3,
means a lot,
they're as famous as anybody I've ever worked with. And it's really lovely.
It's all part of our childhood. It really is. I have to ask you, because you're known to put personal pieces of your life in your movies.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm not very creative like creative people write and invent things. I just take my life and change names.
Now, though, you did get kind of somber, or maybe it's not, when you put the heart attack in Clerks 3. Tell us what that meant to you. Was it hard watching it?
Well, I mean, if you're going to make a Clerks 3, you got to approximate the formula that we went at with Clerks, which was essentially I took my life and changed all the names. So it was close to my real life as possible. I didn't do that in Clerks 2. Clerks 2 is, I love that movie to death, but it's like fan fiction. I never worked at a fast food joint. I've never seen a donkey show, and there was never any threat I'd move to Florida. Those were the things in Clerks 2.
Now.
Clerks 3, especially now. Clerks 3 is, I wanted to follow the same formula of the first movie, so I was like, let me strip mine my life again and just change everybody's names. So Randall has my heart attack. Randall and Dante make the movie in the convenience store that I did like nearly 30 years ago. And they both still work at that store, which I did when I was a kid. So it plays more authentically, or as authentically as the first movie. I can't give you a boots on the ground retail experience like I did with Clerks because I haven't worked in retail in nearly 30 years. Now I own a retail establishment. I've owned like Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash comic book store for like 25 years. So if, you know, in the movie Randall says, this job would be great if it weren't for the customers. If I had an employee say to me like, this job would be great if it weren't for the customers, I'd be like, well, then you're fired. So I went from clerk to like boss. So I can't give you the boots on the ground retail experience, but instead I could give you the authentic experience of my life, and the near-death thing felt like it
Very
was
Bob
a skeleton.
Fosse too. Yeah, completely.
Thank you.
Why do you
In
say
my
that?
head,
Yes.
why? Because
Bob
all
Fosse.
that jazz.
All that
Exactly.
jazz.
The movie All That Jazz
Yes, a
was
heart
Bob
attack.
Fosse doing like his life story and stuff, and Clerks 3 is kind of
Similar.
like that. Kind of. Well done, Mary Lou.
Very nice.
Yes,
and Tori
excellent.
tried to give you an audition.
I tried to do it, yeah. And all that.
You were all Fosse hands. I'm very impressed.
Kevin, it was so great having you in studio.
Excellent
What a
being
treat
here.
to our viewers. Make sure to visit clerks3.movie to find a convenience tour stop near you. Also, Clerks 3 will be available on digital October 14th.
Coming up.
Yes,
and available on DVD and on demand December 6th. We'll be right back. Thank you.